Good morning and welcome to my video series setting up Lotus Domino 8.5.1 on OpenSUSE 11.1 64-bit in VirtualBox 3.0 on Microsoft Windows 7 64-bit. This is part 1, Introduction and Resources, and I'm your host, Devin S. Olson. Let's begin. What I want to do here today is, over the course of this video series, is show you how to get Domino 7, or excuse me, a Domino 8.5.1 server up and running on an OpenSUSE 11.1 box. I'm running this in a virtual machine using VirtualBox on my Dell Dimension laptop, running Windows 64-bit, Windows 7 64-bit. So here's a little bit about my machine really quickly so you can see what we're doing here. System properties, Microsoft Windows 7. I'm running Ultimate simply because that's the version I have. You don't need Ultimate. This is just what I'm running. I'm using an Intel Core 2 Duo quad-core machine. Got 8 gig of RAM, 64-bit operating system. So it's a pretty healthy machine. You don't necessarily need so much horsepower. The reason I have this is because, well, I have a lot of VMs and I do software development for a living, so I need some power, but most folks don't necessarily need this kind of power in a laptop. I'll be doing everything on my E drive here today, and I want to show you some of the resources that are necessary to get started. First off, obviously, we're going to be installing VirtualBox on the machine. So if I go to my temp folder in my install directory, there's the install executable for installing VirtualBox on this machine. The Windows version of VirtualBox supports 64-bit or 32-bit version Windows. It doesn't really matter. The next thing I want to show you is my shared folder. Now this directory here on this machine, it's labeled shared because that's what I named it. It's not actually shared across the network. This is a shared folder that I plan on sharing with all installed virtual machines so that my virtual machines have a single repository to go to so that I can get stuff into and out of the virtual machines very quickly and very easily without having to deal with an FTP server or anything crazy like that. So in my shared folder, for now, if you are a Domino, Lotus Notes, Lotus Domino person, you'll recognize immediately what's going on here. I have my certifier ID that I'm going to be eventually using for the Lotus Domino installation. I have the server ID that's going to be assigned. Crap, hang on, pause. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had a phone call I had to take. Anyway, as I was saying, I've got my certifier ID, my personal administrator ID, my server ID, and the tar file for actually setting up Domino 8.5.1. So if you are a notes person, you'll recognize what this is, and you'll also recognize that because I have a certifier ID and a cert ID already existing, that I'm not going to be creating new ones once we get in here. So if you don't already have a Domino environment set up and you don't know how to set up a server ID and you don't know how to create your initial server and all that stuff and your initial certifier, sorry, that's outside the scope of this video series. So let me come back here. So there's the shared stuff. I showed you the install file. I've got a virtual machines folder that I set up. This folder is here specifically so that I can store all my virtual machines in a single place once I get the VirtualBox installed. And then I have this ISO folder here where I have a couple of ISOs that I've downloaded from the various sites. The one that we're going to be concerning ourselves with today is the OpenSUSE 11.1 DVD x86. You'll notice it's the 64-bit version. Pulled this down off OpenSUSE.org. So those are the main resources that we're going to be using for the system, and we're going to be installing this next. That'll be in the next video. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.